everything right in order in sequence, so I don't get confused on this thing.
Oh, by reading. See,
Yeah.
I bring that.
Look at this. Isn't this great? In large print. And you check it off as you're.
Oh, look at that sequential.
Yeah.
Okay. These really
Yeah, that's what we're going to receive for us. She indoctrinated me to this. I had never done this before, so. Girl takes good care of us, doesn't she? No, two divas for one Snickers. I know what. Okay, I know what to do.
You have 3 minutes. Officially.
You let me know when it's time. Josh, is this the one you want? I'm sorry. Is that the one you want? Huh? Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. You guys bargained with
Boys do it. What are you boys doing? They're scaring me. Yes, sir. People have certain flavors. I just had a little treat. I think we should have hors d'oeuvres. I'm thinking carrot sticks, celery, and hummus. Doesn't that sound good? I go to Metro Bay as a platter. Yeah.
In a meeting here in the community.
Yeah. A couple pieces of fruit.
Yeah. So she, instead of leaving Terry at agriculture, leaving Terry in the CL volunteer.
Are you carpooling the handbag with him? I'm not. Changed a lot of people.
That's used to the new now it's maybe 20. Some bread.
It's right next to that. Have you been in that delicatessen? The Wild Time Deli. Next time, go down the road. It's cooler. Yeah. It's called the Wild Time. TYM. And it's right next door to the Airbag office. It's like 2 doors down inside that same building. Okay. Oh, that's right. They used to meet at the handbag office.
I've never been there.
That's right. Well, if you ever go to the handbag office,
I'll remember that.
just take some time. Yeah, they have really good, really hearty dinners and salads, and then it's more gourmet. Yeah, it's like.
Okay, Dennis, you're on.
Okay. Welcome to Thursday night live show of the Capitola City Council. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Harlan. Here. Councilmember Bottorff.
Here.
Councilmember Bertrand.
Here.
Councilmember Termini.
Here.
Mayor Norton.
Here. Please stand for Pledge of Allegiance. Led by Ron Graves.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have a certificate of appreciation tonight for Ron Graves. Ron, would you please step up? Stephanie will do. Thank you. The microphone.
I can almost step this far. We get to sit?
Yes, we're gonna sit and be comfortable. We're gonna be sitting, be comfortable doing this. Ron has been my planning commissioner for a number of years. I've been his planning commissioner. We're sort of like brother and sister in many ways. We're very, very different, but in our work in Capitola, it really has been a real unique partnership. I beat him in 1984. He got back on in 86, and we have been bosom buddies since then. We have disagreed on very little. Our visions have been the same. He's been my mentor and teacher, and he was on the council for 32 years. I don't know whether I'll break his record or not. I've been on 24, and I have a few. I would have a few more to go, and you can imagine how long that is. Ron served on the Planning Commission for 9 years, and throughout our work in the community, it's made such a huge difference to have someone like Ron here. Ron, as a former PG&E person, has been in most of the homes in Capitola. He can tell you what's going on inside, how many bedrooms, how many illegal bedrooms or bathrooms or granny units, and how many people live there, and who the people are, and whatever. I mean, which has been really helpful in planning this community. In planning this community, it really has helped to have the sense of history that we have, to know who's done what, who wants to do what, who got away with doing that, who's not going to get away with doing that again. And where are we going? Where are we going as a community? And we have together and with others have tried to take this community into a very sustainable, economically productive, environmentally sound place. And I think we've done that. We developed the economic plan on 41st Avenue to have the economic engine to pay the bills here. In the 60s and 70s, this was a little tiny town, and it had very few employees, very few services. And streets didn't get paved regularly, and you didn't have all the parks and the recreation and all the beach activities and things like that. So little by little, as the economic engine was developed in this community, the services were provided. And as the services were provided and planned by this council and by the Planning Commission very, very closely, and that's why I have to say that I feel so strongly about the City Council and the Planning Commission meeting together more often, working together, having a shared vision. You need that. When we are as diverse as we are, and with the push and pulls that we have, the individual interests that we have, it's hard to move forward together. And that's why I think it's really important the next year for the Planning Commission and the City Council to work together as closely as Ron and I have and others have through the next couple of years, because it makes a difference. You are on the same page. The community is on the same page. You build a community center. You build a gymnasium. You build the bridge across Soquel Creek. You build the library. You buy the land for it. You do those things moving forward together, and that's where I see us. We are all built out now, so ours is tweaking, but that tweaking will make all the difference, I believe, in the future. And that's why I believe the general plan and these implementing ordinances and so forth are so important. So the last thing I just want to say is thank you so much. We have a great history together, and we have lots of stories to tell, which we will tell. We're going to do some oral histories together, where we'll spend an hour or two dishing the dirt and telling the stories about Mrs. Blodgett when she'd come down here and ask for the moon and want to do, I don't remember how many, 25, 35 homes back in there, and never could quite get it together. It came down one time and wanted a sign there, right at the railroad tracks, saying El Salto Resort. And we said, oh, gee, I guess we have to let her have a sign for her business. Her business is terrible. And anyway, we let her have a sign. I don't think she ever put it up. But anyway, it's been interesting times, and we will tell some great stories. And thank you. And if you'd like to say a few words tonight. This is only the beginning, Ron. We have a lot of work ahead of us.
Well, I'd like to thank you, first of all, for appointing me to the Planning Commission. Being you mentioned my time on the council, I would like to take this opportunity to thank the citizens of Capitola for voting for me. 8 terms in office is a very long time, and we have term limits now, thank God. That does not reflect on any of the people sitting up here. They are entitled to as many terms as they can get elected for. I do want to thank the planning staff, though, that I've worked with the last 8 years, many of whom are not here. We have had such a turnover in the planning staff that I hope the present staff stays with us for a very long time. I'm going to put my one last comment in, and that is, I think we could spend our money a little more wisely. When we ran a bond election that was very successful a few years back, we promised some infrastructure improvements, and that was roads, and they are getting deplorable. One only has to go from Capitola Avenue
to the railroad tracks on Monterey Avenue, go on Park Avenue, 38th Avenue, go in the Diamond 42nd Avenue area. If we let these roads go much longer, they're going to have to be completely scarified, and it's going to be a monumental cost to the citizens of Capitola. So I hope we get in there and do some overlays, some slurry sealing, some chip sealing before we slurry seal, anything to preserve them so that we don't have this big bill in the future. Again, Stephanie, thank you for the time, and I won't take any more time.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ron Graves. We have another, excuse me, we have another proclamation to serve right now, and I will read this from a May 10th to May 16th has been designated as National Police Week. Whereas there's approximately 900,000 law enforcement officers serving in the communities across the United States, including the dedicated members of Capitola Police Department. Whereas 51 years ago in 1962, President John F. Kennedy signed the Public Law 87-726, designated May 15th as Peace Officers Memorial Day, and the week in which May 15th falls as National Pride Police Week. Whereas 60,000 assaults against law enforcement officers are reported each year, resulting in 16,000 injuries. Whereas since the first recorded death in 1791, more than 20,000 law enforcement officers in the United States have made the ultimate sacrifice and be killed in line of duty. Whereas the names of these dedicated public servants are engraved in the walls of the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial, Washington, D.C. Whereas 14 new names of fallen heroes from the great state of California are being added to the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial this spring, including 132 officers killed nationwide in 2014. That's unexcusable. And 156 officers killed in previous years. Whereas the service and sacrifice of officers killed in the line of duty will be honored during the Law Enforcement Officers Memorial Fund, the 27th annual Candlelight Vigil, on the evening of May 13th, 2015, whereas the Candlelight Vigil is part of the National Police Week, which takes place this year on May 10th to the 16th, and whereas May 15th is designated Police Officers Memorial Day in honor of all fallen officers and their families, and the U.S. flag will be flown at half-mast on that day. Now, therefore, I, Dennis Norton, Mayor Capitola, do hereby proclaim May 10th through May 16th as National Police Week in Capitola, California, and publicly salutes the service of our law enforcement officers in our community and in the communities across this nation. And I am presenting this, to Cliff Soma and Rudy. You can come here too, please. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We have a report of closed sessions, please.
Legal counsel, can you hear me? Legal counsel met in closed session and to discuss the items referenced in the closed session agenda, and there was no reportable action taken.
Thank you, Barbara. Is there any additional materials to be received by the council? There is. Steve, please.
Yes, I have passed out a revised contract for item 10B. Should have it with you there, and there are copies in the back.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. This is a time for public comment. Oral communication is allowed this time for all members of the public to address the City Council on any item not on the agenda. Presentation will be limited to 3 minutes per speaker. Individuals will not speak more than once during oral communications. All speakers must address the entire City Council and will not be permitted to engage in dialogue. All speakers are requested to print their name, the sign-in sheet, and at the podium, and so their name can be accurately recorded. Please, thank you.
Hi, my name is Nancy Lippy, and I live on Balboa Avenue. And I just wanted to say that I am opposed to the proposed skate park on Monterey Avenue because I believe that we have such a beautiful skate park going in just a few miles from there. So I think that having 2 skate parks in Capitola is redundant. I also think that it's too close to a school, and there's too many houses right close by to that. My daughter lives in one of them.
Thank you, Nelson. Thank you very much.
Jim Crowley. Talk about the skateboard park a little bit. I want to thank you guys for your service and your commitment to that. I know that political pressures can be tough at times. I'm taking down the Carmel Valley Dam, and I got 9 different state and federal agencies I have to deal with, and so I know how construction projects can take on a life of their own, and this one seems to be stirring up both sides of the coin. And you know, we talked about that thing being close to the school, and I know that, you know, like I said before, that the school has a surf team, so I'm sure that they could start a skate team as well. All my kids skate. They're not criminals. I know that everything has criminal elements. Doesn't matter. It seems to be the world we live in. Thank God we got a good police department who already left. I remember when Cliff started, we both had dark hair. So I know that there's been a lot going on with this skateboard park thing, and you know, I think that park needs that skate park. I think it also needs a bathroom. Like I said before, when I was here before, I built that park. And when we were building it, we were kind of wondering why it didn't get those amenities. And you know, that skate park, when you build it, you can make dirt mounds around it so it can't be seen, it can't be heard. So you don't have to have a fence. That way baseballs don't get in it. There's a whole bunch of things you can do there. I've got Granite Construction kind of actively involved in it. We're gonna donate some time to it if it proceeds. So I will be actively involved in that. So let's stay to the course.
Thanks, Jim.
Hello, I'm going to sign real fast. I'm just going to write end family, because otherwise I'm going to waste all my time.
No, I'm sorry, the kids have to sign in too.
His penmanship's terrible. So I just wanted to come and just say thank you guys for considering the skate park. My wife and I, we came with our twins totally for sympathy points, but also because, I mean, everything that we have is because of skateboarding. I've worked in it for the past 6 years, and we're originally from the East Coast, and we're out here all because of skateboarding. And hey, buddy. And I just wanted to say thanks from my kids, because you know, we really hope that this skate park goes in so that when they get a little bigger, they too can enjoy skateboarding. So thank you very much for pushing it forward and continuing.
Thank you for showing up tonight.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members, city staff. My name is Richard Lippy. I live on Monterey Avenue, and I'd like to thank you very much for moving forward again on McGregor Park. I've been monitoring that. The progress is coming along, and it looks like it's going to be a wonderful project. Anxious to see it completed. I'm still opposed to the idea of the proposed skate park at Monterey Park. I feel that it's not a good fit for the park. But the main thrust of my talk tonight, and I submitted my information in writing to the city clerk here, that I'm concerned about documents that are missing from the city website in regards to the February 11, 2015 meeting. The action summary there's a link for the action summary, but the action summary is no longer there. The action summary link points to the amended minutes, and there were action, there was an action summary, and I know that the wording is different, and I've asked on 2 occasions if that could be reinstated as an action summary, and hasn't happened yet. So I'm not quite sure who I should be talking with, but if you want to name a name, or shall I figure it out after the meeting?
Why don't you talk to Jamie Goldstein, please?
What was that?
Would you please talk to Jamie Goldstein about this?
Talk to Jamie Goldstein. Thank you. Okay, I'd like to address the January 26, 2012 City Council RDA meeting records. The agenda packet is missing from the city website on that meeting. That was the meeting where the City Council discussed the possibility of moving forward on a 9,000 square foot skate park. Since this skate park project is so hotly contested and very controversial, I think it's important for the citizens of Capitola to have this information to review, and we'll talk with Jamie, I guess, about posting the agenda packet for January 26, 2012. Lastly, the meeting video from that meeting, January 26, is missing. It's not available. I did request it April 17th. It was provided on April 22nd, but it cost me $27 to get the video. I'd like for it to be posted so citizens can see it without having to pay the $27. Thank you.
Thank you, Richard.
Hello. As you know, I'm Lisa Steingrube, and I'm opposed here again to voice my opposition to the proposed 6,000 square foot skate park in Monterey Park. The neighborhood it affects most has had no input to the size and level of this park. And what that gentleman before said, that you can put mounds instead of fences, well, we've never had any input on what's going to go there. That's not the way the city of Capitola usually works. For other city projects, committees of interested residents were organized and all the ramifications of the projects were discussed before a plan was adopted. An example of this is the Capitola Library Committee, where I've been a member for the last 5 years, or the Rispin Mansion Development Project, in which my husband participated. Also, both my husband and I came to the McGregor Skate Park planning meetings held in this room last year. Community input has been an integral part of the process for those projects, and I'm sure for many others that I don't know about. This did not happen with Monterey Avenue Skate Park design. I know some may say you are turning a deaf ear to our pesky appearances and our outcries at the City Council meetings, but I do think you're listening. Supporting such a contentious and negative project is not the way Capitola usually does business. And what I hope you see is that how committed we are to preserving the integrity of our neighborhood.
Thank you, Lisa.
Good evening. My name is Peter Batur from the city next door, and I haven't been here for quite a while. And because usually I don't have a rental car on the week during the week. I usually take the bus, and I think you guys are being shortchanged with the bus route. The last bus that leaves downtown Capitola in this area is something like 5:39 or something like that in that neighborhood. And there's no way to get to this meeting here. Well, you can get to the meeting here if you get here early enough, but you can't. There's no bus ride to the Capitola Mall after when you guys are finished. So that's why one of the reasons I haven't shown up lately. And it seems to me that if I ever get Rispin Mansion into a youth hostel, we need a better bus service, because at least more than half, maybe 3/4 of the customers that we have arrive by bus or on foot. And of course, in Santa Cruz, the hostel is fairly close to the bus station, to the main bus station. Here, it's quite a ways to get from either from the Rispin Mansion to Capitola Mall. The closest would be on Bay Avenue, just across the bridge and the parking lot there. That would be the best. But since one or two of you people are sitting on the Metro board, Seems to me you should get your money's worth and get better bus service in this town. It's really atrocious. Even on where the hostel is, bus number 3 isn't very good either, especially on the weekends, because in the summer it won't be running the beach loop, and you have to go all the way out to the end of the Delaware before it does the beach loop. But here it's even worse. You don't have anything at nighttime. Actually, there's a later bus, but that only runs on the weekends. So Saturday and Sunday, or Friday and Saturday, I guess. Saturday and Sunday do have a later bus service. So anyway, please keep that in mind. I'll leave a bus schedule for you guys, since you obviously never ride a bus. Otherwise, you would also be complaining about it. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter.
Hi, council members and Mayor Norton. I'm Marilyn Warder. I live at 218 Unibrow Court, and you've heard from me before. But my neighbor, Al Globus, has a difficult time getting away in the evenings because of his home situation. And I have a statement from him. If I could read that, I would like to do that. At a recent City Council meeting regarding the proposed Monterey Skate Park, proponents voiced two main themes. One, Monterey Park is central, and two, McGregor Park is unsafe. Both are false. Monterey Park is not central in Capitola. It's very near the city boundary, in addition to being very close to McGregor. A central skate park for Capitola would be right here at City Hall. McGregor is perfectly safe if you drive your kids there. Right now, many proponents drive their kids to the Scotts Valley Skate Park, which is very inconvenient. Driving their kids to McGregor would be a lot more convenient. But in any case, the issue with McGregor isn't kids' safety as much as it is parental convenience. The problem with Monterey Park is that the immediate neighbors, those that are adjacent to the park, don't want it because skate parks make lousy neighbors. Note that McGregor and Scotts Valley Park have essentially no neighbors. As a thought experiment, only Al would say that, try moving the skate park to Hidden Park and see how many of those neighbors think it's a good idea. I mean, sure, they signed the petition saying, oh, this will be fine. But, they really didn't think about their neighbors who live adjacent to Monterey Park. But Al thinks that there is a safe central location in Capitola that doesn't tear up any greenery and forever prevent Capitola from having a regulation soccer field. It's the parking lot behind this building. It doesn't have many neighbors. It is far more convenient for kids who live on the other side of the creek. And we would lose a little bit of parking revenue, but only on those few summer days when both lots are completely full. But you'd gain some revenue from the parents who drive their kids to that skate park, pay for parking, and then shop in Capitola. And besides that, it's right across the street from the fire department, which is very convenient for the broken bones that inevitably happen at skate parks. So Al and I thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Marilyn.
Mayor Norton, City Council, thank you for your time. I am opposed to the proposed 6,000 square foot park on Monterey. I am for the park on McGregor. We just need to move forward with one park. I don't even know how to say this, but I'm still stunned that the neighborhood surrounding that park had no input on the size and design. That's amazing to me. And I think it is to, well, maybe not to you, but it is to us that live around there. And I still can't quite believe that. Anyway, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
I'm Cheryl Devlin, and I am in the neighborhood right across the street from the proposed Monterey Park. I am opposed to such as it's proposed, the Monterey Park. And I feel that the McGregor site has already been approved and it's already in the works. The only thing that I would like the City Council and municipalities maybe work together is to have the railroad pathway connect and sidewalks put in. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Cheryl.
Hello, my name is Helen Bryce. I am very happy to see construction resume at McGregor Park. I love parks, and I've been a supporter of this project from the beginning. And I'm happy that both Mayor Norton and Public Works Director Steve Jesberg have assured me that McGregor Park will be a safe place for Capitola's children. Capitola really needs this park, and I'm glad to see it back on track. I'm also happy to see things moving forward with the Monterey Bay Sanctuary Scenic Trail. This trail connects people to parks. It's so wonderful to know that a child or an adult living, for example, in Capitola Village or on Riverview can easily and safely walk, bike, or skate to McGregor Park. I also really like the way things are moving forward for Risbin Park. Like the McGregor Park project, the Risbin Park project has been created with a conceptual overview, a plan that takes into consideration the best use of the space and includes input from the people who live near the park. Risbin Park is a wonderful project. On the other hand, I feel very strongly that the proposed skate park in Monterey Park is not in the best interest of Capitola's residents. There is no overview that considers the best use of the space in this precious park. I personally feel that the City of Capitola needs to change direction on this issue and preserve the green space in Monterey Park, especially in light of the fact that we are losing park space in Capitola. In any case, we need a plan for the future, one that considers the best use of Monterey Park, just as we have for Risbin and for McGregor. Thank you again for moving forward on Risbin Park and on McGregor Park. I look forward to McGregor's opening day when we will finally see children happily enjoying the Capitola skate park and the wagging dogs of our resident dogs. The wagging tails of our resident dogs wagging dogs. Thank you.
Is there anyone who would else like to address the council? Please step forward.
Good evening. Marie Martorella. I wanted to come up, Trish and I just had a few words we wanted to say. Mainly, thank you. Thank each and every one of you for your continued support of the Monterey Skate Park project. Just wanted to give you a little update that a week ago we formally submitted the plans and the permit fees were submitted, everything to the city. It is under review and we're moving ahead and we're very, very excited about that. We want to thank you also for allowing the process to take place. I also want to say that there is one thing that through this process that remains clear to us is the amount of support that folks do have for this project. We are thrilled, to be spearheading such a project that is truly going to be for the better of this community and the children. So thank you again. I can imagine that, there are times, as I think Tim said earlier, it's not fun sometimes to be in the political limelight. I can tell you that as well. We are definitely feeling that, but we are very firmly planted in seeing this project through. And the number of supporters that we have just confirms that we are definitely moving in the right direction. So thank you all for your support.
Thank you, Marie.
Hi, I'm Tricia Proctor, resident of Capitola. And Mayor and Council, I just want to thank you for your continued support for the skate park project at Monterey Avenue Park. The outpouring of support via email, text, phone call is overwhelming, and actually the many local businesses that want to contribute to the building of Monterey Avenue Park is a testament to the value the community shares to support the kids and their sport in our community. And I also really want to point out that during the planning hearing process, we welcome any and all input from all parties, and that's the process. So again, thank you, and thanks.
Thank you, Trish.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Craig Curtis, and I'm a resident of Capitola at 204 Washburn Avenue, and a resident for 29.5 years. And again, I've seen many changes in the Cliffwood Heights area in my time of being a resident, and it continues to be impacted with the growth and just with like the Center for Performing Arts and the gymnasium. I think we all would agree that schools, the students benefit most when they and with their academic studies and endeavors when they have when they don't have distractions and noise, and that's why libraries are they're quiet. And I don't believe that this skate park, as it's proposed here at Monterey Park, would be conducive to New Brighton Middle School. I just noticed recently they do have the signage saying that it is a distinguished school, and I would like to see that preserved for the future students coming up through the ranks in the years to come. I am in support of the skate park at McGregor. That would be, to me, more like for like, where you have dogs and barking, and you have kids that are enjoying themselves and skating, and it would not be impacting anything with the freeway noise adjacent to the park, with the dogs and the skating. So I would plead with the city that they would again not think of Monterey Park as a place that this skate park would be a place that would be most beneficial for Capitola. Thank you.
Thank you, Greg.
Good evening, Mayor Norton and council members. My name is T.J. Welch. I'm with the Capitola Foundation, and here to do a quick little follow-up on Mayor Norton's proclamation. The foundation is happy to, I don't know if you allow advertisements, but that's what this is happy to do a dinner for appreciation for our law enforcement, our police officers at Capitola. And we feel very fortunate, not only that we have a great-looking police chief, but that we have a great staff in the police department. And it's great to live in a community where you actually know most of your officers by name, and not because you've been in the back seat of one of their cars, but because they're familiar to you. So Yeah, we're really proud of our police department, and the week of May 10th through the 16th, when we're doing our law enforcement appreciation, we're going to have a fundraiser dinner. It will be at Paradise, and the fundraiser is $40. It includes a $30 meal at Paradise with a fixed menu. And the additional $10 is a donation that goes back to the foundation, which all that money goes to support our police officers. So if you don't know about the Capitola Foundation, our primary mission is public safety and community groups. And so we're here to help support our police department, our law enforcement, and the community in groups. So you can see either one or two of your council members for tickets. You can see me. You can go online and get a phone number. And they are also at Coffeetopia and the not Coffeetopia. Oh, that's a slip. It's Calypso's Cove Coffee Shop here in Capitola. Sorry about that, Justina. And at the Chamber of Commerce. So we hope you get a ticket. You can go any night, Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday with a ticket. And no special time, reserved seating or anything, and have a nice meal. So with that, thank you.
Thank you, TJ. This community supports you.
Hi, I'm Mayor Norton, Council. On the way down here, I drove in front of New Brighton Middle School, and there's two signs posted on the front: "No skateboards allowed." So I'm wondering if there's a skate park adjacent to it, and all these kids show up for school with the skateboards that they're not allowed to have in school. What are they going to do with those skateboards while they're waiting, sitting out the school day, looking out the window, looking forward to going skating in that skate park? Naturally, I'm opposed to the park at that place, in favor of the McGregor Park. I listened to the honorary speeches, and Stephanie gives kudos for wanting to preserve the environment of the Capitola environment that we have. I'm assuming that includes green space. And if we put a 6,000 square foot block of concrete in Monterey Park without a plan as to what else is going to be there, and it's going to be too late to go back and change it once it's there, because things like that are really hard to move, even if we discover later on that it wasn't a good idea. Ron Graves, nice to see him again, said that we should find a better way to spend our money. One way we could spend our money better would be to not make a commitment to maintain this park, and maintain two parks, one in Monterey where it's redundant. We'll be obligated to maintain the one in McGregor, but there's really no reason why we have to maintain two. That's it. Thank
Could you give your name for the public record, because you are.
Oh yeah, Terry Tedder.
Thank you, Terry.
T-E-T-T-E-R. Yeah, I'm
Thank you very
sorry.
much.
I got a cold this morning.
Put my glasses on.
I wasn't going to speak. My name is Sherry Siegfried. Mayor, council members, I just wanted to say I live on Depot Hill, and in the last year I've noticed kids 11 to maybe 14 skating in the street. And they're not just skating in the street, they are doing tricks. And, I'm a pretty cautious driver, but, other people aren't. And they're doing tricks in the middle of the road. And I think a safe environment for kids, young kids, to skate is really necessary. McGregor, to me, is a very dangerous area. My kids are grown. I have no kids in this game that skate, do anything. And I had girls, they never skated. But I do see children in the street doing tricks, and it's very dangerous. And I think that younger children need a place that's safe in a neighborhood. So I thank you. I am for the skate park. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Marla Sanders. I live on Junipero Court. I'm all for a skate park, and I think McGregor is a perfect place for a skate park. I don't see any reason why that's not a safe location. I understand right now a pathway to it would be much better if it had a sidewalk, and I don't see any reason why we can't improve on that. But I don't feel that Monterey Avenue Park is a place for a skate park. And I think one skate park for Capitola is plenty. Thank you.
Thank you, Marla. Is there anyone else who would like to address the council?
Hi, my name is Zach Proctor, and I'm a citizen. My mom's Tricia Proctor, and I just want to say one thing about McGregor is I don't feel safe to say my little cousin or my little brother or any of his friends going out to McGregor to go skateboard. I wouldn't let him go out there unless I was with them or with a parent. I would never let him skate there. I would never let him bike there or anything. So I just want to say that I think that Monterey Park is the best place for them to go.
Thank you, Zach.
Hello, council members, mayor, thanks for your time tonight. My name is Jason Turner, and I'm here in favor of the Monterey Avenue Park. I think it was well said earlier. Council member Harlan was speaking about the planning commission and having vision and moving forward with the community and having this in place for future generations to come, and couldn't have been more well said than having an opportunity like this to have something in the community for the kids and for future generations to have this at their use. And parks and recreations are essential in any community, and having a positive outlet like this for kids is essential. So appreciate your consideration in this project and moving it forward, and seems like there's open forum for everybody to get involved with their opinions as far as design and so forth, and it sounds like there's plenty of time to work that out. So once again, thank you, and we look forward to this project moving forward.
Thank you, Jason. Is there anyone else that would like to address the council? Rich, can I ask you to come up here for a second, please? Rich, now that the application has been submitted to the city for the proposed skateboard park at Monterey, can you tell us what the public process will be right now and what kind of timetable we're on?
So the first thing we're going to do is review the application, make sure we have everything that's needed to continue through the process, initiate the CEQA process. Once we make a deemed complete determination, we'll initiate the CEQA process. We're going to do an environmental impact report. So there will be a notice of preparation public scoping meeting that will be held probably within 60 to 90 days following our determination that everything's complete. Then we'll go away, we'll do the studies, we'll prepare the environmental impact report. That report will be released for a minimum 45-day public review period, and after which we'll collect comments from the public, provide responses, and then prepare to bring the project before the Planning Commission for the decision on the park itself, and then eventually the City Council will have to weigh in on a right of entry type permit.
So this will go before the Planning Commission first, is that correct?
That's correct.
Then the City Council.
Correct.
And at what point does the public have the opportunity to weigh in on the design of the project and the proposal?
The public can weigh in at any time. Certainly there's going to be lots of opportunities. The NOP public scoping meeting, I did fail to mention there will be an ARC and site meeting. That's a public meeting as well that residents and citizens can attend. And then of course through the CEQA process we receive written comments from the public and the public hearing. So there's going to be lots of opportunities between now and the final decision day to give public input.
Do we have any data bank or any collection of names and people who have spoken up in front of this council or either through this whole process?
Yeah, we do have a list of names.
Contacts.
We've received a lot of emails, of course. You know, when they come and speak at public hearings, we do have their sign-in sheets. So we do have a list of names. I can't say that it's necessarily complete, but there's a long list that's there. And certainly as we move through, we'll be compiling a list and making sure that we try to keep everybody informed of the process. We'll also try to put more information on the website as it becomes available so the public can easily access it and know what's going on and, you know, have a good understanding from home without having to come down here and ask questions if they prefer not to.
Thanks, Rich. Appreciate your time.
Mr. Mayor, we will put this timeline that Rich discussed up on the website. At this point, you know, the dates are going to be tentative until obviously get further into the process, but at least show people where the scheduled hearing dates are and what sequence they'll come. And as soon as they get set, we'll keep that updated on the website so people don't have to come down to every meeting.
If there's questions from the public as to the process, who should they contact?
Regarding the planning process, that would be the planning department, so talking to Rich.
Okay. Thank you. I see no one else in the public like to speak. Staff, is there any public comment on any item?
I did want to let the council know, I think we've discussed several times, we're getting much closer, and I expect we'll have the app rolling out relatively soon for the pay parking, so that people can pay on their phones for our pay parking spaces in the village. We expect to have that up and running relatively shortly, I'm hopeful, which should be real nice.
Thank you, Jamie. Comments from council? Michael?
I want to thank the mayor for helping facilitate the light opera coming to the stage after the concert program is over and after Art and Wine and Begonia. We're going to have a Sunday afternoon opera session, and like many of the Art and Cultural Commission events, it is at no cost to the city. So thank you very much, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Michael.
And also perhaps a question, Jamie, you weren't in the room at the time, but there is some concerns about, and you will be contacted, I'm sure, by Mr. Lippy, about SIRE links and what's up and what's been dropped. And also I realized that I think 2012 was pre-SIRE time, and if there's any way to get the video that we have up on the site, maybe a link to somewhere, it might be helpful too.
Can you explain what SIRE is, maybe?
SIRE is the software that we use to keep legal copies of our videos and our agendas. And it's very orderly and it keeps everything together, but we didn't bring that into place until after 2012. Therefore, the videos aren't available in an easy format, which is why a public records request of a video costs $29.
Thank you.
I have two comments. Ron almost stole my thunder. Earlier this week, there was a letter to the editor about 38th Avenue, and I think a lot of us here in Capitola read that with some dismay because the overlay and the fix of 38th Avenue was being promised when I was running for city council to start anytime soon. So I was wondering, Jamie, is there any prognosis on this and maybe why it's taking so long? And if you could give us an update, that'd be great.
We'll let Steve do that, I think.
Let's get the update from the Public Works Director.
Yeah.
Good evening. So we actually have plans for 38th Avenue. We had some right-of-way problems there that we're still trying to resolve. At this point, we have a new pavement engineer. I'm having them review the plans. The plans are about 5 years old at this point, so we need to kind of review them and look at them again. But I do hope to go out to bid very shortly on that project and get it built this summer.
By shortly, what do you mean?
This summer?
Probably go out to bid, let's see, we're April, so by the beginning of June, we'd be out to bid on that project.
Okay, thank you, Steve. I have one other comment. Recently, I've received a number of complaints about our tree ordinance, and I did talk with Rich about one of those complaints, and apparently some trees were cut down about 4 in one neighborhood, and 4 neighbors complained about that. I'd like, with the council's permission, to have a review of our tree ordinance. Want to know how it's operating, and maybe it's time for us to let citizens know in Capitola what the ordinance is, so that we don't have situations like this.
Just on that same topic, I was going to suggest that we put an article in our newsletter pretty much every time reminding people, because there's neighbors on my street too that just cut down 4 trees. And this is because they don't know. People just don't know. So, it's just a continual thing. That's why I think we need newsletters more regularly, and with just those kind of information that people would just remind them about it.
Because that was, during my campaign, that was one of the constant comments that I received, complaints about how we administer it. Ever since I've been coming to these meetings, I know it's been coming up continuously. So maybe it's a good time to, have some a presentation so the public could be reminded, as you said.
Is there consensus in the council to bring this back to council for discussion?
Are we going to be looking at that as part of the zoning ordinance review? I don't think so. I didn't see it in the list. The problem is always there are people who know the ordinance and still cut the trees down because it still doesn't cost enough when someone does it illegally.
No.
And there's a threshold where we can't go over. Is that true? That we can't make it a $100,000 fine?
We actually did recall that we did amend the ordinance several years back, and we increased the potential to fine based on evaluation of the actual tree removed. So I think there is a theoretical possibility that there could be a $100,000 fine if the tree were of such significant value. I can tell you that I know that no fine, we've never levied a fee anywhere near that.
No, but we've had someone come in and pay a $20,000 fine without batting an eye because it was what they wanted to do, and they had the wherewithal to do it.
They created a buildable lot that was worth $300,000. I think that there is some consensus that we discuss this as a council, and so at the staff's convenience, we would like this brought back to us, please.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Stephanie.
Just an announcement to encourage people to go to the Special Olympics fundraiser that our police officers and the sheriffs and the CHP are sponsoring this year. They do it annually. It's going to be Thursday, April 30th from 5:30 to 9:30. And it's at Chili's over on 41st Avenue. We have a special joint city council meeting and planning commission meeting, hooray, that night at 6 o'clock. So we'll have to sneak in there early and get our food early. But it's a fundraiser for Special Olympics. So if you're not doing anything that night, go on over there and get some food, and all the tips go to the Special Olympics. The police officers and the CHP will be there helping to serve, and so it'll be quite an evening. And there are other volunteers who are welcome too. So if you're dying to help, be a volunteer and help them, they would welcome it.
Thank you, Stephanie.
I just have one item. I'd like to make a request to put an item on the agenda for discussion. I'd like to discuss the modification of the plan at McGregor Park.
A modification of the plan of the park that's being completed now?
Modification of the plan that's under construction.
What is the proposed modification?
Increase the size of the bike pump track in lieu of the proposed skate park.
I may be a little premature to do that, Ed. I think maybe we have to go through a process on this thing before we can make a decision as a council whether to pull the plug on that or not.
But isn't a single council member's request all we need to put something on the agenda?
No, it needs consensus of council.
No, it doesn't. It's just to announce it at a council meeting. That's what that ordinance says.
Okay. All right. Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Rudy, please.
Sorry about that. Regarding staff comments, just a reminder, this weekend is the Wounded Warrior Project, which is down at the village.
That's correct. Saturday and Sunday, they're surfing.
Yes. And so if you'd like an opportunity to come down and see the event, it's going to be pretty fabulous. We have about 25 military folks who have suffered significant injuries who will be down enjoying the surf as well. Thank you.
That's at 10 o'clock, right?
I believe it starts at 9.
It starts at 9, but there's a little 10 o'clock ceremony, and we just welcome them all at Paradise, having dinner there right now, and get yourself down there.
Yeah,
that's all I
good
have
way
to
to
say.
support your troops. I have a question of city policy regarding sidewalks. It seems to me that we, in the past, if there was a new single-family residence in a sidewalk area, that we require that a major remodel or new construction requires that a sidewalk be placed in front of a house if it's at the owner's expense. Is that true, Steve? Yeah.
Yes, that's correct. Under our current ordinances, they're required to.
Okay, so in regards to the new facility next to McGregor property where the water district is putting in their facilities now and they're still in the grading stage, would they not be responsible for putting a sidewalk along the frontage of their property there?
They are putting in a pathway. There isn't a sidewalk included in that project, but I'd have to, let me review that and we'll have to return.
Let's see
to
what
you.
we can do with that, Steve.
Yeah.
You know, that. Okay, thank you very much. Okay. Our city treasurer is not here today, so we have no comments from her. Boards, commissions, and committees appointments. Stephanie, I think you are there.
I'd like to appoint Susan Westman as my planning commissioner.
Okay. And do you have appointment for Commission on the Environment?
No, but I'll have that next time.
Next time. Okay. Thank you very much. Welcome aboard, Susan Westman. Not here tonight. Okay. We move the consent agenda. All items under consideration under the consent agenda will be taken in one motion unless the item is pulled by the public or by the city council on these items. Is there any member of the public that would like to pull any item on the consent agenda? Being none from the public, the city council?
I'll move the consent agenda.
Second.
Okay. Got a motion and a second. And all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye, with the exception of 911 funding. Abstain on. Thank you. Okay, we move to general government, public hearings. Consider approving the Arts and Cultural Commission 2014-2015 annual report. Michael, I think you have the lanes there.
Do we have a slideshow?
Yeah.
We do. So, this is our yearly report to the council. You know what we do, you know how much fun we have, and we help Capitola have fun. The 2014, the purpose is to advise the City Council as to the allocation of public funds for the support of existing and new programs in the arts, and this year we're branching out a little bit and going past the fine arts to cultural events such as concerts, operas, banjos, you name it. It's getting more and more fun all the time. Some of our successful art projects of the last few years, besides the great backdrop on the stage in our summer concert series, we have our stained glass surfboard and other art on 41st Avenue, as well as our traffic boxes, which have just been rehabbed. We got the original artist to go through and touch them up and brighten them so they stay fresh and as wonderful as Capitola. The 30th year offering Wednesday evening free concerts. And the chief just left, but it's amazing to me that we can invite 2,000 or 3,000 of our closest friends, and I don't know that we've ever had any serious police action during 30 years of concerts. It's truly amazing. Sunday Art at the Beach. This is a zero cost to the city of Capitola. The booth fees collected by our staff person, who is a non-paid staff person, not only pays that staff person, but provides for all of the costs for this particular event. In addition to that, we have a sponsor that handles 6 Sundays of music throughout the summer, with the music coinciding with the Sunday art sales on the beach. 3 free movies, and I forgot which ones we're showing this year, and I should have had that.
Yeah.
But
they're going to be good.
They're going to be great. They're going to be just epic. Okay. So, and it's free popcorn and usually free drinks if we can get them from McDonald's, and it's big fun. We also do the children's art projects at the Begonia Festival at Art and Wine. We're always there, dipping fish into paint and making little prints. It's my favorite thing, is Dead Sea creatures into paint. We bring rotating art to the City Council chambers as well as to the police department. And as I mentioned before, we refurbished our public art projects just this year, and they're still the best traffic boxes anywhere in the county, maybe the state. Our dedication for the 41st Avenue project, along with the artist, and the semi-bearded gentleman there, I think is me, and the cake was delicious. This is probably one of the nicest things we've done, the sweetest things we've done in a while. The first mural was wonderful. We extended the mural to under the overpass. Now that we own the right-of-way, it's easily the happiest entry into the city of Capitola. Is that the end of my slideshow? And we're contemplating having the train overpass done in blue so it matches everything else. So, any questions?
Good work. Carry on. Thank you, Michael.
It's the most we get with the least amount of general fund money anywhere.
And do you have any other projects scheduled for this next year that you're
Yes,
discussing?
we're looking at, I know Steve is planning a project for a retaining wall and a metal railing in front of Bellaroma. So we are going to take the responsibility of the metal railing out of Steve's project. He doesn't have to buy it. And we're going to use our public art money to put an artistic railing up there and put a call to artists out and see what we can do with that. We're also working with the folks at the cinema to see if they would like to either put a piece of art at 2% of the project cost in a public area, or if they'd like us to just take their money and put yet another art piece in the median out in front of the theater. A lot of wonderful projects going on. We're going to do a plein air event, which is artists painting in real time out in the air. And it'll be a weekend event over 2 days. The artists will be stationed in particular parts of the city. We're going to publish where those areas are. Then at the end, they'll be judged. They'll be given money as an award. And then they'll be able to come back down to the stage to receive the awards and potentially sell their art. A lot of good things happening. We're inviting for next year the Santa Cruz Symphony. We're going to sponsor a concert at New Brighton Middle School. And perhaps we'll have a string quartet or a small chamber group perform on the stage as well. A lot of great things happening on the Art and Cultural Commission. Did I miss anything, Larry?
No, I think you covered it all.
Stephanie?
There was talk about adding the wall on Capitola Avenue by Hill Street also to your list of future projects. I hope that is on the list. It stays on the list.
It is on the list, and we're pursuing the fact that that particular wall does not belong to the city, and we're going to have to approach the property owner on that one because it's not really our wall.
Yeah. Several owners, right?
Before there's 4 homes there, and we'll have to make sure it's okay, and before we slap tiles or paint or Lord knows what we're capable of.
Yeah. My other request is to don't have political signs at any of the art and wine or cultural events or any of those things. I know they do at the Police Foundation does at their golf tournament. They solicit funds if candidates that are running for office want to have their candidates sign up there. And I would just encourage every organization that we have as a city to not have any political connections at all. And you don't want to ever ask a candidate to give to you or to donate because it disadvantages others who may not have the money. And it creates an unlevel playing field. And it also, more than that, it interjects politics into art and culture, and you do not want that. You always want to have art and culture seen as worldly. It's open to everyone. We want everyone's support. We want it to be universal. We do not want to have any political fights about it, if at all possible.
I agree, and I will bring that back to the foundation because the only place that I've seen that so far, well, 2 places actually, the golf tournament, which is easy to get whole sponsors, and we'll try and keep ourselves apolitical. And also there was once a float in the Begonia Festival, and someone decided to put a political sign up as they floated down, and believe me, that was the good Laurie Hill put a stop to that pretty quickly. You echo the feelings of the Art and Culture Commission.
I've been involved a little bit in raising funds for the arts over the years as a former music teacher, and I know that you want to stay far away from politics when you're asking for funds and support and building that whole community of around your art and culture. You don't want to.
By the way, we're also looking to put a climbable sculpture of a sea creature in the new McGregor Park. We're looking for a space to put a couple of pieces like a turtle and a seal and whatever that look beautiful and can be climbed upon.
That's cool. It's like the museum, Natural History Museum.
I don't often get to surprise you. Well, actually, I surprise you every day. I'm sorry.
Michael, has the Arts Commission ever explored the idea of taking art into the science and the science world? In other words, using elements that we have here, such as you could have some kind of contest for flying machines, or dealing with we have a wonderful space there for flying things. We have great winds on the beach here, and being able to creatively make kite contests, or using an element that we have in our environment, waves, whatever, to create in our project. It would encourage people in the community to participate in the art themselves, and they bring their item up out.
Well, the chamber does do a kite making and flying competition every year, and I have always wanted to have a driftwood sculpture contest, but we've never figured out how to time it so we knew when all the wood came up on the beach. So anybody who has any ideas on that, let me know. Maybe Public Works can stockpile it for a few months, and then we can pick a date. Because it happens anyway, we may as well make it a contest.
Timing would be tough.
Yeah.
The surf contest, you know. Sometimes you can have it, sometimes
Maybe
you
we
can't.
just give everybody beepers like Mavericks, and when there's enough wood, we set off everybody's beepers and it's on.
Yeah, 24-hour notice.
Right.
Okay, we'll move to general government item B. Consider approving a Santa Cruz County Sanitation District grant easement for Soquel Creek Pump Station force main.
And I'm going to recuse myself from this and abstain, since I sit on both bodies, and I do receive a stipend from that body. It's not really a salary, but it's a stipend from that body, and I will be voting on it there too. So it puts me in the awkward position of having an interest here, a slight financial interest, only it's the city, and being on the sanitation district too. So I think I'm just going to recuse myself.
I would like to hear your opinion, though, about Stephanie. Can you give us that before you recuse?
No.
You can't? Okay, all right. You're a representative, so that's...
I know.
Okay.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. So the item before you is actually a quite important project to replace the force main. Just to orient you to the drawing that's in your packet here, we have the Nob Hill grocery store and CVS center right where my cursor is now. The sanitation district has the pump station there. I'm sure we all know where that is. We've all smelled it in the past. And currently the pipeline comes up and comes straight up to Wharf Road here and then goes down to Wharf Road. That pipeline is approximately 40 years old and in need of replacement. The county is proposing to bore and drill the new pipeline in a diagonal directly up to Claire's. In doing so, it'll cross 3 parcels that are owned by the city. First one is Perry Park. The next one is the Rispin property, and then finally a very small corner of the library property. The entire length of this pipeline through all 3 parcels will be bored and jacked. That means there will be no disturbance to the above ground features there. In the middle of the Rispin property, it's approximately 70 feet deep. It goes 40 feet under Soquel Creek, so it's not something we're going to see. But like I said, it's very important to try and get that pipeline replaced. The contract that is in the agenda packet was recently reviewed by the city attorney. They have made some recommended changes to it. I'll come back to the timeline. So we have a revised agreement that we've handed out. My recommendation is you approve the revised agreement, but give the city attorney authority to make some changes as we negotiate those changes with the county. They haven't seen the revised document yet. I will go back to the sewer project timeline and what it affects on our Clare Street traffic calming project. So the construction is scheduled July through December. As we all know, construction projects usually take longer, so I'm proposing that we move forward with the Clare Street traffic calming, which we've been waiting for the sewer project to complete before we move forward, that we hold workshops in August and October. We bid the project probably starting in January with a construction of the Clare Street traffic calming in spring of 2016. So get back to my recommendations, and that's my report, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Steve, I have heard that the existing 40-year-old pipe is leaking. Is that true?
I haven't heard. I've heard they suspect it may be. I mean, there's no positive proof that it is, but I think certainly there's been some evidence. We have high counts in the creek all the time, so replacing any of these old lines similar to what they're doing on Noble Gulch is an important part of trying to address that.
How will they abandon the old lines that go into the creek now?
I think they're just going to fill it, they're going to seal the ends and fill it full of, I don't know if they're going to pump it full slurry, I'm not exactly sure, but I know they'll seal both ends so that there, won't be anything transmitting through it anymore.
It'd be nice to have them, pump the whole thing, so there's no sewage just
Right.
resting
No,
in
they
there.
will empty it, yeah. But
Good.
I don't know if they're going to fill it with concrete or not, that would be.
Do you know what pipe material they're using and what the life expectancy is?
Are you going to, I believe it's an HDPE that they'll be pulling.
Okay.
The life expectancy of those tends to be about 40 to 60 years.
Okay, good. Thank you. I have no other questions.
Yeah, I have one other question. So I went to the meeting that Stephanie just went to, and so I was hoping she'd report on it. Can you confirm, are they redoing the blower and the...
They are redoing quite a bit of the mechanical work inside the pump station. It does include revamping the odor control systems there. I assume that's what you're asking about.
Right.
I will tell you they'll change them, but they'll still have mechanical failures at some point in the future, and we'll also have continued odor problems. But hopefully they'll address it, and they'll be fewer and farther between than we have currently.
Yeah, my understanding is that the new blower would be larger, more capacity, be able to pump more air, basically.
Right.
And so when there's problems, this will take care of the smell on the majority of cases.
Yes, that's their goal. Yes.
That's good news.
Steve? I'm pretty amazed that they can bore a hole that long and come up at the pump station. So,
oh yeah,
and still get underneath the creek.
Yeah, it's. I don't know the technology they're using, but it's. I mean, they're doing a lot of boring on the Noble Gulch project under Highway 1 too. So,
Is there going to be any monitoring during the time that doing work around the creek that we need to be aware of? I mean, is there some way that we have assurance that we have a solid seal all the way through? Number one, and number two is that physically they're never going to touch the creek, right?
right.
So they won't
right.
be in the water. They won't be in the water. Okay.
They're 70,
so there's
40
no
feet under the creek. Yes.
There's no how many?
40 feet under the creek.
40 feet under the creek.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. And so as long as we have been looking for sources of contamination on that creek, and we've really done our due diligence over the years. We obviously know that the birds are our biggest problem there. That don't we have readings above and below that point that would tell us if that thing was leaking in the past? I mean, maybe it's immaterial now that we're taking it out, but the point is that if that's been a source for us for the last 4 years and we didn't know about it and they knew about it, why weren't we told by sanitation? Is sanitation, is this are they the ones who are saying that they have a leak, or are they?
No, I think it's like I said, there's no confirmed that the existing pipeline leaks. Just like the pipelines in Noble Gulch, or there used to be ones along the creek on Riverview Drive, they're suspected of leaking. It's very difficult to actually measure it and determine there's a leak. You could sample, but that pump goes on and off all the time. And there is high counts still above there, above where that pipeline crosses. So it's just they're doing their due diligence to replace all the aging pipelines along the waterways.
So are they going to put their boring machine up there on Clares there?
No, the boring machine's down by the pump station. They're going to bore
goes from below and comes up.
Yes.
How do they get 40 feet down and then come back up again?
They can do it.
Did
you see
they dig a
it doesn't go
deep
straight.
hole. Yeah.
Dennis, they just bored under Highway 1, and no one ever knew it.
Yeah. There's if you want, you could go out to the corporation yard. There's a 40-foot deep bore pit in our corporation yard right now. So they dig a really deep pit, put the boring machine down the bottom of it, and start going.
They keep as they bore. As they bore and they set the pipe as they go through. Is that?
I think there's different methods, and I'll be honest, I don't know them all. But I think this one they're actually pulling. They're going to drill, and then they're going to pull the hose pipe through all at once. And their plans include a large staging area in the Nob Hill parking lot where they can lay out this whole pipe and pull it through in one time.
Well, they welded the pieces together.
Yeah. Is this kind of the future technology of anything that's subterranean within?
Certainly, anything this deep it is. There's still, you can see on Noble Gulch, they're trenching. They're still doing the trenching methods because economically it's still cheaper to do that on anything above 10 feet deep it is. But
it's cheaper to dig it still.
It's cheaper to dig it still.
And shorter distances.
I'm thinking about how much time we spend with our roads torn up. There was some bore machine that could take care of everything subsurface for us.
It's certainly we've seen, people probably don't even know, we have the cable company boring under 41st Avenue. They've done like 3 or 4 bores over the last year. They go out at night, they pothole all the utilities, make sure they know where they are, and they're boring a new service underneath 41st. So it's certainly a viable technology.
Thank you, Steve. Is there anyone in the public who would like to address this issue? Being none, come back to council.
I'll move the staff recommendation.
Second.
Motion second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, good. I have a question of what happened tonight. Stephanie, maybe this is for Barbara. Stephanie chose to recluse herself because she sits on the agency that votes on an issue like this, yet she's our city representative on this council for those agencies. Is there a conflict of interest in issues like this?
I was concerned about a conflict of interest because while I reviewed the Government Code Section 1090, which addresses this issue, and in talking with her, we decided it's more of a precautionary matter that, and she felt more comfortable recusing herself because of the fact that she does receive a stipend from the sanitation district, and in this contract there could be a perception that by this district receiving compensation from the city, that would also implicate her having a financial interest in making this decision.
Doesn't make sense.
Well, I think all of us sit.
I mean, it's remote.
Like
it's remote. It's remote.
Yeah.
And we're just taking a precautionary
Well,
approach.
if a council member is sitting on here, they are a representative of the city to this issue, and I personally feel that I want to hear her input or something. I sit on the RTC. Should I recluse myself every time there's going to be a project on this rail line up here? I get a stipend. Ed gets a stipend from the Metro. Every time there's going to be a bus service change here, does he have to recluse himself?
Well,
I think the difference in this case involved is the payment of fees, which is relatively unusual in the relationship with these other boards. We don't often write a check to Metro or to the RTC. And, you know, I think the city attorney pointed out, because the contract involved the payment to that agency, and she does receive a stipend. Now, I think that it probably was out of an abundance of caution.
Okay.
And if we do have the situation in the future, we can take a further look at it if a council member would like a specific read on the issue.
Well, I personally, if I'm subject to this, I would like to know that. You know, how we deal with the situation.
Sure.
It's her choice.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Okay, we will adjourn the city council till the meeting of April 30th at 6 o'clock, same place. And speed limit Capitola's 25 miles an hour. Please observe that. Thank you.